The race is on for Ethereum Treasury companies to buy up all the Ether, and things are getting as intense as the search for a sold-out Turboman doll. Ethereum co-founder Joe Lubin, Wall Street legend Tom Lee, and this guy with a ponytail are all prowling the streets for any and all ETH they can get their hands on. In fact, BitDigital even just swapped their Bitcoin treasury for an ETH treasury. So what makes an ETH Treasury Company different than what Michael Saylor has been up to with Bitcoin? And is ETH finally in a rally to $10,000?
So that's why Ethereum probably could go to 10,000 or something.
In this episode, we're digging into the ETH Treasury strategy that might just out-strategy strategy with their own strategy. This week, Ethereum finally looked like it broke out of a 3-year slump of getting its ass handed to it by Bitcoin. In fact, the ETH BTC chart has truly been an ugly one, as Bitcoin's gains have outperformed Ethereum's basically since 2022. But now, Ethereum's leadership is stepping up to fix that, and it looks like it's working. If you haven't noticed, there's a new energy in the Ethereum ecosystem, just by saying 2 words: Treasury Company.
I don't even know what that means.
No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
No, it's not. It's
Gets
gross.
the people going.
That's right, ETH Treasury Companies. Sharplink Gaming, a converted gaming software company now led by Ethereum's Joe Lubin, scooping up ETH. Bitmine Immersion Technologies, a converted crypto mining company being led by CNBC contributor and Wall Street genius Tom Lee, scooping up ETH. And BitDigital, a Bitcoin treasury company, even selling all of its Bitcoin to convert to an ETH treasury company, and you guessed it, slurping up all the ETH.
I drink your milkshake.
So they really must be sold on ETH being the best asset in the world. It must be cranking, and activity on chain must be popping. Joe Lubin, give us your hard sell.
We still have a lot of Ether out there and not enough activity to sop it up. And so that's a reason why we and others are doing the Ether treasury strategies.
All right, that was an honest answer. Because, truth be told, maybe the Ethereum roadmap has taken longer to play out than a lot of people wanted. And maybe, since that activity hasn't necessarily come on chain yet, it needs a little boost, or a stopgap, if you will, until that activity does come on chain. Maybe, Tom Lee, you can try to make it sexier?
The reason Ethereum, is attractive, in my opinion, is that it is the layer 1 blockchain where real world assets are becoming tokenized. As more things in the financial world and real world become tokenized, then financial institutions like Goldman and JP Morgan and Amazon Walmart, as they do stablecoins, are also going to want to stake Ethereum itself. So we're essentially doing the underlying architecture of what other businesses will actually do. So we're essentially getting in front of what other businesses will do.
And that seems to be the reason why the Ethereum leadership is fine plowing money into these treasury companies to help prop up the price of ETH. In fact, they aren't really shy about it. It's exactly the same thing Saylor sparked to help drive demand for Bitcoin before and even after Bitcoin ETFs opened the floodgates, as BitDigital CEO Sam Tabar explains.
There are lots of financial engineering tools that you could use in the capital markets. It's exactly what MSTR is doing. And that's what we're going to do. We're literally copying his playbook. I understand I shouldn't be so proud to say that I'm copying his playbook, but I'm not going to lie.
And look, that can be true, and all of this can work. But there's just one thing that doesn't quite feel right as someone who founded Coinage as a community-owned ETH Treasury company 3 years ago. And that is how these companies function. If you squint, it kind of looks similar to all of the things people in crypto hated about meme coins. Insiders get in at cheaper prices than retail, then they issue the press release that says they found a shell company to take over, the stock pops, retail gets in, and then the stock craters as insiders register to sell their shares. That much happened with Sharplink shares, which fell about 90% after shares that were issued in an earlier offering to buy ETH were greenlit to be sold by investors in that round. The same thing has happened with Tom Lee's Bitmine Immersion Technologies, though to a slightly smaller scale. But all of that in the early days may just be a necessary means to an end.
What does Wall Street pay attention to? It pays attention to being able to make money. What are we going to demonstrate? Because decentralization is the direction of travel for the world, we believe. We believe that we're going to see Ether and Bitcoin continue to rise over the next years and decades as we paradigm shift to more and more decentralization. So that's going to put a bid under these tokens, and the anticipation of us and Saylor accumulating more and more consistently, both in large chunks as well as just selling ATM. We're able to acquire tens of millions of dollars in Ether a day.
Certainly, by being able to issue shares and raise money via registered offerings, these publicly traded treasury companies can do these buys at a scale that others cannot. But who's really capturing the value here? You could say just anyone holding ETH. And as the founder of Coinage, I think I speak for all of our members who own our 100 ETH treasury with me when I say we're pretty stoked about that. But we also boast something that these publicly traded Wall Street companies cannot. Our members, or NFT holders, all own the same slice of Coinage along with me. There are no shenanigans afoot, and there are no insider buys that let people get in early and dilute anyone who comes after. It's just a bunch of people on the internet owning a media outlet and an ETH treasury together. And if you become a member, all your ETH goes directly into our treasury, which so far has not been touched. You would also then have an equally weighted say in what we do with that treasury. But with these treasury companies, it's been very interesting to see unilateral decisions being made, like when BitDigital decided to abandon its Bitcoin strategy play for stacking Ethereum.
We sold all our Bitcoin and we did this raise. I actually personally participated in that raise myself with my own savings, and we poured that all into Ethereum. We now have 100,000 Ethereum we have accumulated about 100,000 on our balance sheet, and we're just getting started. That's just the start. We're just getting warmed up.
And looking at BitDigital's SEC filing shows Sam did indeed participate in that raise, stacking more than 2 million shares at $2 and less per share before the announcement came out and the stock rallied north of $3. That was also a big win for crypto billionaire Brock Pierce, who also participated before the announcement. And to be clear, there isn't anything wrong with private issuances. It just seems a little at odds with leaning into decentralization, open access for everyone instead of limiting things to accredited investors, and really what makes Ethereum different from everything else in crypto. And those big shareholders will be the ones racking up the wins in selling the volatility that follows by diluting shareholders and issuing more shares. But if you want to participate in something that gives you just as much ownership over the ETH we hold as me and all of our members, consider joining our community-owned ETH Treasury play here at Coinage. We might not have as much ETH, but we do have this channel and a quickly growing media outlet which you can co-own as well. Because what's the point of just owning ETH if it's not powering something we can all enjoy together? So let us know in the comments below if you're betting on these ETH Treasury companies or just along for the ride. I'm Zach Guzman. This was Coinage. Stay safe out there.